If it wasn't for the banner raising, I honestly might have thought that this was a preseason game. But no, this one counts. Avs win over the Chicago Blackhawks 5-2.
Arturi Lehkannon! Colorado has won the Stanley Cup!
The optimist way of looking at this is that the Avs are extremely dominant and easily the best team in the league that's going to crush all of their opposition. The pessimist way to look at this is the Chicago Blackhawks iced 90% of an AHL roster. Personally, I lean a lot more towards the pessimist side of that. Not that the Avs didn't play very well, but that Blackhawks team might be catastrophically bad. The real take here is there just isn't very much to take from this game long term. It's great that the Avs played well. There are positives and negatives that we'll get into, but don't fret too much either way. After the fun but quite long banner ceremony, the Avs came out hungry, especially their top guns were really flying. They wanted to make an impact immediately. And while they didn't score a goal, Cale Makar doing this to Tyler Johnson has to be worth at least like half a point, right? It wasn't for lack of opportunities through the first 10 minutes of this game. The Avs had a number of them. They just weren't quite finishing early, but that quickly wasn't a problem either. When the Avs need a goal, they just have Nathan MacKinnon break out old reliable. So this play actually starts out with MacKinnon dominating. After a weird turnover, he gets a ton of room to walk in and get a grade A opportunity by himself, but Mrazek makes a good save. Just quality hockey play there. Then you get some weird scramble. Chicago kind of tries to eat the puck and bury it under a body, but it doesn't work, and it eventually comes loose before any whistle gets blown. And suddenly, that's bad defense. That is 4 Chicago players within 7, 8 feet of each other, all next to their goalie. So none of the zone is covered. Literally, none of it. Honestly, the Avs don't even take advantage of it that well. Taves is able to collect the puck and get it to MacKinnon. And MacKinnon does that thing that he loves to do with this little wrister from the point. It's not even a very dangerous shot, if we're being honest, but the Avs did a great job of getting bodies in front, and it's Andrew Cogliano who finds himself free. He's pretty good at the hand-eye coordination thing, is able to get just enough of a tip on this one to slip it through Mrazek. We're going to be talking a lot more about the Avs' top line throughout this game, or really their top power play unit, but they were pretty much carrying on the night. Not that the rest of the Avs lineup played poorly. Second line was just a little bit quiet, and the bottom six is clearly still figuring some things out with guys playing with each other. Again, weren't bad, but weren't electric like the top guys were. Now, this game was not a runaway initially for the Avs, at least on the scoreboard. It honestly felt pretty comfortable even from minute 1. But the one major deficiency in the Avs game was their penalty kill, and that cost them their first lead just 2 minutes later. Avs in their PK set here, right here it's fine. They're pretty set up, nothing too crazy to talk about. But it quickly breaks down as Chicago works it around the outside and then works it down low on the far side. This is where you see things get really messy defensively. For some reason, EJ decides to come all the way across and commit to the man down low. If he's going to do this, the rotation you need to see is Manson stay high in the forward position on that side and Logan O'Connor come wrap in behind to play defense there. Honestly, it's just a really weird decision. You kind of let Manson seal that off and EJ keeps his side of the ice. It just makes more sense, but very weird choice as EJ even commits to the slide. And now you have an absolute mess of a play. With 2 defensemen fully committed down low on the far side, there is a whole lot of ice that you cannot cover at that point. And then you get this weirdness because Logan O'Connor saw EJ go. So he wants to rotate down, but then he gets stuck down defending the same guy Josh Manson does because Manson also came there. EJ essentially removed himself from the play. I usually like his slides. That was not a good one. And all of a sudden, the Avs have 3 guys defending 2 on an already penalty kill. So that's some open dudes. Cogliano fell down a little bit slow getting back to help, and that is a wide open man inside the faceoff dot. Really nothing Georgiev's ever going to be able to do there. You would have liked to see O'Connor recognize the situation and release off and go cover that guy, but there had been so many breakdowns at that point, it didn't really matter. Yeah, it's pretty blatantly obvious what fell apart there. That one's a pretty easy fix, and one that will just get fixed as they get into the season and start playing games more. So you kind of throw that one away to it being the first game of the season, but something to keep in mind. Thankfully, despite the Avs giving up 2 power play goals in this game, they would score 4 power play goals of their own, so it just wasn't a problem. The first of those coming towards the end of the first. This may genuinely be the perfect power play. McKinnon carries it up after a pseudo drop pass, gets the zone entry easily, and forces 3 Chicago defenders back heavily into the zone with his speed. Once he gets deep, he curls up, has the full commit from Chicago before getting it back out to the point, which isn't even really the point, because the commit, Lecky's able to pinch down extremely deep. Chicago is caught very, very deep on this side of the ice. Again, not covering a ton here, as the extra commit from Nichushkin has to be respected too. So the Avs just have so much to work with. Lecky realizes it immediately and finds Mikko on the other side of the ice. Good vision, but they're not done there. Take advantage of it. Use what's given to you. Mikko has room to work with. He takes his time. He uses enough of it. Sees Val all alone. Just poor coverage here from Murphy. Not exactly sure. That's just kind of bad. And that's just a tap in for Val. That footage should be enshrined in the Coaching Hall of Fame. It's literally executed to a T perfectly. You couldn't draw it up on the whiteboard any better than that. And sure, Chicago was pretty weak defensively there, but that's just beautiful hockey from the Avs. A 2-1 lead felt fine going into the first intermission. Honestly, the Avs probably deserved better. Gave up just 4 shots on goal to Chicago in the period, and the Avs just put the foot down in the second, quickly picking up a 2-goal lead. I'm going to be honest with you, this power play is mostly just Nathan MacKinnon doing whatever he wants. He gets his puck on the near side and just skates around, hands it off a couple times, but really he's the one drawing all the attention here. Basically does whatever he feels like, and Chicago can't stop him. As he works it in here, he gets almost 3 players really committed to him, but 2 for sure, the 2 on the near side, or far side rather, of the ice, before sending it down in deep to Mikko, and Mikko from there with the committal to MacKinnon. That's enough for Mikko. He's a great passer, sees the lane, Lecky recognizes what's going on. He's cut in front of the high man, and that's just game over. Lecky from the slot, he's gonna finish. Look, everyone in the top end of the Avs lineup was impressive tonight, but Lehkannon may have been the one that impressed the most. Not that this is entirely unsurprising, but it's going to have to be done as a group to help replace some of the scoring they've lost from Kadri and Burakovsky. And Lehkannon looking like that, it's going to help replace some of that. Also, him scoring again on the next power play will help replace some of that. Not a ton to this one, but there's a couple of key subtle movements that the Avs make work on this power play. As they're working it around on the perimeter, there are 2 key plays that come here as Makar is going to feed Mikko, the most open guy on the ice right now. Lecky has worked in down low. You can see that down here. And as Mikko's receiving the puck, he already knows what the ice looks like around him, both his teammates and the defenseman. He sees where the defenseman is. He realizes he can step into this pass, move toward the puck to create a lane down to the open Lecky in deep. Now, Lecky also does a good job to step in enough, puts that defender on his back side, puts him on the back hip. There's no way he's going to get contested here, and it turns a nothing play into a pretty easy goal. The Avs had 15 total points across their hockey team tonight. 12 of them came from their top unit, that being MacKinnon, Lehkannon, Rantanen, Makar, and Taves. Safe to say the top-end talent is just fine. The Avs closed out the second period pretty easily, outshooting Chicago 22-10 at that point. This was not a competitive hockey game, and that did shine through at times. The Avs were rolling all 4 lines all night long. Even the 4th line was approaching or even breaching the 10-minute mark. And I wanted to make that clear because it's not like the Avs' effort level slowed down in the third period. They outshot Chicago 13-7 even there. The Avs just felt comfortable playing their whole lineup, evening out the minutes a little bit, resting the legs, which they have a back-to-back, so great that they were able to do that. They did have another penalty kill whoopsie in the third period to give Chicago another goal. Kind of a combination to a number of the other power play goals you've seen in this game. As Chicago gets the zone, two weird things happen. The Avs put two defenders high on the blue line. I don't mind that. I like them being strong on the blue line, but as the puck carries to the far boards, there's no communication, the system aren't clear enough, and both Byram and Girard end up on that side of the ice. Again, you've overloaded the same side of the ice with both your defensemen. That leaves a bunch of awkwardness through the rest of the zone. It is Logan O'Connor's job, once again, to cover back for the defenseman double committing to that side, and he does a decent job of it initially, but as the puck gets worked in deep, he eventually just gets beat down there. He's not a defenseman, so gets caught flat-footed as he stops up and just can't quite reach this one. And it's a tap-in play right in front. There's one area you'd really like your defenseman to defend. It's right about there, and nowhere near that area are the Avs defensemen. Something you don't love against a better team. That's how a comeback starts. You don't want to let them in easy at the start of the third. But in this one, it just didn't really matter that much. And Nichushkin puts the cherry on top of this one near the end to make it the 5-2 final. This wasn't more of the same for the Avalanche. That top unit just absolutely better than anything Chicago has to offer. They work it back up high to Makar where he's given a ton of space. That's really dangerous. Makar steps in, gets a good couple of steps, sees a shooting lane and lets it go. And once again, the Avs with the two-man stack in front. One net front screening the goalie and one playing for the tip. This time it's Val playing for the tip and he succeeds. A very quiet 4-point night for Mikko, if you can call it quiet somehow. Mikko just has an ability to do that. It's weird. And the Avs never really felt under pressure here. Georgiev played fine, had no real chance at either of the two goals he gave up. But again, it's hard to really take anything significant from this game. PK needs work. If your forwards at the top are going to keep playing like that, you're going to beat most teams. But most teams are going to give you some more trouble. The Avs also did hit one post in this game, so we have the first of those of the season. But on the whole, a nice, very easy start for Colorado to this season. Unfortunately, they have to immediately turn around, fly to Calgary, and play a rested team coming up when you're watching this probably the same day. So the task gets much harder immediately. Let's see where they go from there. That is the end of this game video review. Thank you for watching. Head on over to thednvr.com for all of our coverage. I am Rudo, and I missed this. It's good to be back doing real hockey games.
Avalanche time, come on, grab your friends.